I'm Shirley Descorbeth with the Illinois Channel at the Illinois State House. While lawmakers are working on next year's state budget, this year's current budget is facing a $1.6 billion deficit. We spoke about this and other issues with House Republican Leader Jim Durkin. Representative Leader Jim Durkin, thank you so much for joining us on the Illinois Channel. So for fiscal year 15, we have a $1.5 billion budget deficit. Can you just, tell us how we're going to proceed with the remainder of the year?
Well, I think we need to remember that in the second week of January, Governor Rauner inherited this unbalanced budget that was passed by the Democrats who are in both chambers. I think that it is absolutely critical that we resolve this rather soon. We do have some very vital state services that could be compromised. Our court reporters could no longer get paid. Correctional officers may not be paid, and we'll be losing money for the child care program. We believe that this deficit should be balanced. We need to be responsible. But the fact is the governor inherited this mess, and I think that all four caucuses need to work in a comprehensive manner to give the governor the authority to balance this budget. It's very difficult to start talking about FY16 when we haven't even been able to figure out the mess that we are in right now. So we believe that the governor should be given some flexibility and latitude to be able to make cuts within agencies through the Daycare process. I believe that there's some opposition by the majority party in that by giving the governor that type of latitude. I think it's wrong. We've given previous governors that type of authority. Governor Quinn 2 different times, and also Jim Megger has been granted that authority in extraordinary circumstances. And I believe that the state of Illinois right now, the fiscal condition we're in qualifies for that extraordinary circumstance where we need to give the governor this extra emergency budget relief to get this problem solved. If we don't take care of this, it's just going to further damage this state's very fragile credit rating. It's also going to be looked at as a negative with investors, job creators, and even people who live here who are just kind of frustrated about state finances, and really frustrated with the legislature for not getting their act together. So I have been, prepared to move forward with legislation, but we need to have an agreement, and I believe that's what the Speaker believes. The Governor would like to see an agreement between all four caucuses to resolve this, but we are getting to a critical point where we may have to move, I think, in a very, tough manner, but something that has to be done. So we're negotiating, and we believe that we are still negotiating in good faith. I believe that some individuals need to just back down, give this governor the ability to govern, let him solve the problem and the mess that he inherited. But we'll talk about FY16, and we'll have a fair discussion, an honest discussion about that. But they should not he shouldn't be hamstrung by having this albatross, this $1.6 billion deficit, still looming over the state of Illinois budget. It's irresponsible, and we need to fix it.
You mentioned that in the past, governors were given the authority. Why do you think that Governor Rauner hasn't been given the same?
Well, I think that Governor Rauner, some people are not used to this type of governor, a person who's very direct, someone who's very strong, a person who, when they make a statement, they stick by their statements. And I think that some people just are not, it's part of it's politics. I'll be honest with you. I think part of it is politics. And I think some people don't like to hear what Governor Rauner is saying. But Governor Rauner is saying what's right about Illinois, how we're going to fix Illinois. But, we're grown men and women, and we're down here to do a service for our constituency and also for the state of Illinois. It's very important. But I think that that there's a reluctance to give the governor this authority, and I'll just blame it on good old Illinois politics. And it's unfortunate. People are going to suffer. There's going to be, as I mentioned, some of those programs that are quickly running out of money. And the fact is we need to get this done, give this governor the ability to govern, let him do his job and give him the same authority we've given to past governors.
Right. Like, for example, those daycare providers and, those parents. Is there anything that you want to say to them? Because some of those daycares have closed already.
Well, this governor wants to keep those doors open. He wants the money to come in. The House Republicans want the money to keep those doors open. And I believe the Speaker also wants to find a fix to this problem, as does the Senate Republican leader. I know that the president of the Senate and his caucus is moving slowly on this, but the fact is the governor on the second floor did not create this problem. Let's start with that. He wants to fix this problem. We're not interested in going and looking back and pointing fingers, but this is a problem, this is an issue that needs to be resolved within the next 2 weeks. If we get past March, I won't say it's a doomsday situation, but it'll be a very, very difficult time for the state of Illinois, and particularly when people are looking at the finances of the state. And I think it's irresponsible not to get this done. So we want to get it done. We've been trying for the last month. And I think there's a way good to do it. Some people don't like it, but the fact is he didn't create the mess.
Okay. And switching gears here, Governor Rauner introduced a criminal justice task force. Can you speak on that a little bit?
Well, I think it's still in the formation, but the governor is very interested in reducing the head count within the Department of Corrections. He thinks that he can cut our prisons are filled to the brim, and he believes that there's perhaps a better way of going about managing our criminal justice system in Illinois. We need to make sure that people who are committing violent crimes and people who are stealing from individuals and the thieves are going to be held responsible. However, there are individuals who perhaps their sentences need to be reevaluated. Other types of crimes need to be reevaluated to see whether or not they constitute a trip to prison if they're convicted. So I think it's about time. I'm a former prosecutor from Cook County. I understand tough on crime. I was tough on crime. I still am, but I think there's a responsible way to manage our criminal justice system where we can actually ensure that people pay their debts to society, but they will go back and they'll be functioning and good citizens, and they will seek to contribute back to society. We don't want to create these scenarios where people are just coming in and out of prisons every 2 or 3 years, just almost a turnaround. But the thing is, they're not contributing to society, and there's actually no treatment, no type of vocational skills that they're learning. So I think we need to go about it and do it in a better manner. It's a very daunting task. A lot of people have done this in the past. I'm going to work with this governor to try to make some sense out of a criminal code that gets amended and it's changed every day. I think in the spirit of being tough on crime, but we have to be responsible also. It costs a lot to maintain these prisons, and at the end of the day, are we better off sending some people away for a number of years for crimes that some people still question whether or not they are ones which people should be sent to prison for? So there's a lot of moving parts in this.